Welcome to Cosmic Diaries. This is Priya Kale, your astrologer, and we're looking at the astrology today for the week beginning September 16th, 17th till September 22nd, starting with the eclipse, moving to the equinox at the end of the week. And there are major aspects developing, suggesting this is no ordinary week. We are entering eclipse season and life is shifting shape tangibly. So I'm going to get into the aspects day by day and look into the energy of the eclipse, how this is all going to play out. But first, a huge thank you to everybody for listening and signing up to the channel. And if you're new here and haven't yet signed up, I do appreciate your support, and that way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. And if anyone wants deeper insight into their chart and astrology, because obviously this is just an overview, do email me at priya@cosmicdiaries.com and I'd be happy to schedule something with you. And of course, I'll leave links below. But with that said, let's just dive in because there's a lot to unpack this week. We are moving to the Pisces full moon and lunar eclipse on the 17th of September. So 16th, 17th, the energy is building powerfully. The exact eclipse takes place at 10:34 p.m. in New York. It's a penumbral eclipse, and you may want to look up the timing in your wherever you are, according to your time zone. But before I say anything else, and if you remember nothing else about an eclipse, at the time of an eclipse, people love to watch, whether it's a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, people love to watch the eclipse. But ideally, according to the Vedas anyway, an eclipse is the time to stay inward and to not expose yourself to the atmosphere too much. So ideally, it's just a time to stay indoors, to meditate. It's a great day to be fasting. And definitely during an eclipse, it's advised not to eat or drink or anything. It's like our system is getting a whole reset and a reboot. So you don't want to be doing anything important. That said, what you can do and what is said to multiply 10,000-fold during an eclipse is any spiritual practice that you do. So any meditation, prayers, mantra chanting, the effects of that will be multiplied at the time of an eclipse. So that's the only activity that's really prescribed at the time of an eclipse. And so that's one thing that I would recommend as the eclipse aligns. And this is true for all eclipses, but especially given this eclipse is in Pisces, which is the sign of divinity and spirituality and the soul. Take time as the eclipse aligns to really reconnect with your soul. And under the current aspects, the energy is magical, dreamy, mystical, extremely creative, musical even. Pisces represents music and sound, which is the seed of creation. That's why Om is the primordial sound, the underlying vibration of the universe. Pisces is a water sign. It's a mutable water sign, and it speaks of our dreams, fantasies, cosmic consciousness, God as an experience, divinity, spiritual energy in terms of permeable energy, which is what God is, omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. At best, Pisces energy is very intuitive and psychic, but if there's a lack of clarity, then there can be a distortion of reality, which then leads to the shadow side of Pisces, which is our illusions and delusions, any sense of denial, addictions, toxic substances, cycles, patterns. This is the veil of Maya, of materialism. Pisces is a sign that's symbolized by the two fish. One fish swims towards enlightenment and the other fish swims in the opposite direction towards the materialistic world. Ultimately, Pisces is a reminder that all is one. And now with this full moon coming up in Pisces, Pisces being the 12th sign of the zodiac, the moon representing our emotions, we're feeling the full range of emotions: joy, sadness, grief, love. We're learning that life is not black and white. We're likely dealing with complex, sensitive situations, and there's a need for sensitivity with ourselves and with others as we move through the next few days. That said, in essence, this is an opportunity for deep healing within ourselves and in our relationships, because what we're learning are lessons of unconditional love. All things pass. So be honest about what you've outgrown and what you're releasing, as well as what heals you and replenishes you. We are in the process of materializing and realizing our dreams. And it would help to look back at what was going on around the 2nd of September, as well as way back around the 10th of March earlier this year, and the seeds we were planting at the time, because now life is blossoming and it's time to reap what we've sown, for better or for worse, and to learn our lessons as we wipe the slate clean and figure out what we want to keep in our lives and continue to nurture, and what we're weeding out and leaving behind in the cycles we're leaving behind. Because full moons will bring the end of a cycle and the culmination of a cycle and closing of chapters. But especially with Pisces, every end is a new beginning, and this is the first in a series of eclipses that continue until 2027. So we're closing a door on the past as we move towards our destiny and our future. This eclipse is at the North Node, although the nodes are still in Libra and Aries, but the North Node as soon is going to enter Pisces. So what's unfolding now is showing us what we need to clear away so we can fully embrace the future with open arms. It's a dual process of clearing out the past as we create space and nurture what is starting to bear fruit. Eclipses, as you may know, occur every 6 months, generally in pairs. Sometimes we'll have 3 in a season. When we have eclipses, life tends to accelerate, time tends to accelerate, life gets fuller, denser. There are destined, fated events and encounters that take place at the time of eclipses. Another feature of eclipses is that we're setting patterns for the next 6 months at least. And in this case, we're getting a glimpse into the next 2 years of our life. That's not to say that, we're stuck with anything we're not happy with in our lives. In fact, what's surfacing now is coming up so we can take a good look at our lives and look at what needs to be cleaned up and weeded out so we can build a life we've dreamed of in alignment with our soul, vision, purpose, and something, build a life that fulfills us on a deep level and brings a deep sense of fulfillment and reward daily, not just at some point in the future, because who knows how long we're going to be here. Virgo represents our daily life and our daily processes. And as the full moon aligns, we're gaining clarity on the steps we need to take so we can allow life to blossom. Once the eclipse aligns on the 17th, in the coming days, just as the moon's disk is shadowed and reappears, we're seeing situations in a new light, and we can expect newfound clarity. Full moons bring the end of a cycle, and this being an eclipse, this is the end of a major cycle where we're ending unhealthy patterns and stepping out of what we've outgrown so we can step into the fullness of who we've become and what we're becoming. Life is opening up in a big way now, but this will also mean that there's that need for deep reflection and deep honesty with ourselves, because on the 18th, just hours after the eclipse, Mercury, the ruler of the Sun in Virgo, makes an opposition to Saturn in Pisces, and communication is moving over a threshold. There may be bittersweet realities and truths to confront. Doors are opening and closing. We're leaving behind old chapters, stepping over a threshold. This has been an ongoing process since at least the full moon in Aquarius on the 19th of August. You might want to look back at what was going on then. We were moving over a threshold and gradually turning a corner into this new world that we're building. And we're seeing that our dreams are within reach. Mercury is a planet that rules the mind, and again is the ruler of the Sun in Virgo. So we're seeing the little steps that we need to take, what needs to heal within ourselves, the self-limiting beliefs that we're letting go of. And in its opposition to Saturn, there's a need to reflect on our boundaries, our limits, the walls that we're taking down, especially because Saturn is retrograde, the chapters that we're leaving behind, as well as aligning with our goals and a soul mission and something that is a soul calling, because eclipses are aligned with our destiny and there's a sense of destiny calling now. But first, we'll have to get really honest with ourselves and our integrity as we step over this threshold. Then we can communicate honestly with others and find a balance and healing and a way to, let the past be water under the bridge, to learn our lessons, but to let go of any resentments and leave the past behind so we can fully step into the future We can't move to the future while we're still looking over our shoulders, And the next 2 weeks with the moon waning and us being between eclipses, a lot is going to happen. So there's going to be major revelations that are coming through post the eclipse, and life is going to start reshaping itself quite rapidly. So take this time on the 18th to really align yourself, 17th, 18th, to really align yourself and get real with yourself. Because on the 19th, the sun in Virgo will trine Uranus. And this full moon is aspecting Uranus. So there are unexpected breakthroughs that are coming through now on the 19th. Where as doors open and shut, we're entering a whole new world and stepping out of our comfort zone. So move slowly, but be willing to improvise plans and be innovative, because we're seeing a quicker way, a shortcut to something that has for so long been out of reach. An obstacle or a door that was previously shut now suddenly swinging open. And maybe this is a mental door, as we let go of our old beliefs and the old mental tapes that we keep playing, we can start to see life in a different way. And as we release any sense of disillusionment or disappointment based in the past, which really, any sense of disappointment really comes from our own illusions and when we've projected our fantasies. But when we can release that sense of disappointment, what we're likely to find is reality is a lot sweeter and more magical than we could imagine. What matters is our vision and our ability to make the most of what we have and our resources. And this Sun-Uranus trine is taking place in Earth sign. So this is, there are tangible shifts that are taking place. The moon at this time will be in Aries and makes a sextile to Jupiter and opposes Venus on the 19th. So our hearts are expanding and there are huge opportunities arising. Again, just be honest with yourself. Then you can deepen connections and your involvement in situations, whether it's financial, creative, romantic, that align with your values. And again, this will mean, not being afraid to remain detached from outcomes and trusting that, because the moon is in Aries, there's a need for trust right now. Trusting that what's right for you will grow with you. What matters is what you're investing your energy in and where you're investing your time, love, money, energy. So there's that need for discernment of, whether we're pouring good energy after bad down the drain and repeating cycles that we know are futile, or now whether we're willing to gracefully release what's past as we redirect our efforts and engage into what brings us a true sense of joy and pleasure and fulfillment and what is constructive. And this doesn't mean that you need to be afraid of losing anything or anyone that you love. We're all going through this process of growth and rebalancing. Whatever's right for you, you can't lose, and it will be a part of your future. But anything that's a part of your past now, this is about you reshaping your relationship with it. You can't change anyone or anything else. Nor can we change the past, but we don't have to carry it around like a burden on our shoulders or keep looking over our shoulder into it. We can learn from it and we can change ourselves. And in that, we can change any unhealthy dynamic that we've been caught up in or stuck in and free ourselves to see a new way forward that works for everyone involved and everything that you care about. Because then on the 20th, early morning, the moon enters Taurus at 5:03 a.m. Later that evening, the sun opposes Neptune at 8:16 p.m. and the Taurus moon will sextile Mars at 8:18 p.m. So just at the same time. And there's really a sense of being able to touch our dreams or our dreams materializing and our dream being within reach. But it's also important that not projecting onto situations and we're withdrawing projections and really peering into our own hearts and souls. Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. So this energy, since the full moon, it's extremely creative and magical and mystical and musical. Pisces represents music and creativity. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So with the sun opposite Neptune, at best, where this can be a very sensual evening when we're enjoying music and perhaps good wine, good food, good company at best. There's also a chance to have deeper soulful experiences and transcendent and mystical experiences. So it's a great time to be meditating as well, or channeling this creative energy in some way. It's also a very romantic evening. So relationships could be deepening on a powerful level right now. There's a sense of being able to give shape to our dreams, give life to our dreams, and to finally be able to touch something and feel a sense of deep fulfillment and nourishment. If for any reason you're not enjoying this energy or enjoying what's unfolding, then it's definitely a gentle opportunity to ground yourself in reality and to wake up from any sense of disappointment or disillusionment and reconnect with your senses. Take a walk in nature, enjoy some music, spend time in meditation, take a bath, bring yourself to the present reality. And you can invite in a flow of healing and a gentle sense of nourishment as you let go of what drains you. If there are any fears arising or any sense of nervousness or anxiety, release it consciously. The past is past. You're not a child anymore. We're not children anymore. And this is a chance to create reality based on our most noblest, optimistic vision. So seek clarity, seek depth, and stay aligned with your values and what matters to you. Then you can connect with others that share your values and see the depth in you and love and appreciate you for who you are, not their projections of you, and vice versa. We are moving from the Pisces full moon and lunar eclipse to the Libra solar eclipse 2 weeks from now. So we're learning, yes, love is unconditional, but relationships are a choice. And we're deepening relationships with others who share our values and where we can have those equal partnerships with, and where the sum of what we can create and bring into being is greater than what we could achieve on our own. And make no mistake, whatever is unfolding in your life right now, the people that are in your life, the situations that are in your life, this is part of your destiny and part of your soul's growth, ultimately. So fill your own cup, which doesn't mean you're locked into any dynamic or relationship that you don't want to be in, but rather we're being asked to take a deep look at our lives and look at what we want to continue to engage in and nurture, the cycles that we're breaking and the relationships or situations that we're deepening our involvement in, and investing in healthier habits and connections that are supportive of our growth and where there's mutual support and love and respect, rather than replaying old cycles and expecting or hoping that someone else will change. And we haven't talked about Mars at all, and I just want to mention it really quickly because Mars is now in Cancer, and this was a full moon in Pisces. The moon is the ruler of Cancer, and Mars is the planet that rules our sense of self, what makes us feel alive and what drives us, what motivates us. It's the planet of action, and Mars is not comfortable in Cancer. So there may be deep insecurities that are arising, and it's important that we're releasing them consciously and not letting our imagination, because with Pisces, the imagination can run wild. It's important that we're not letting the darker shadows of the mind eclipse our mind and its ability to see a more beautiful reality. So release and consciously rise above insecurities and trust that we can meet life as it comes, given everything that we've learned. Then you can share and be open to receive the love and support that's all around you. Then on the 21st of September, the next day, Mercury squares Jupiter, and this is big. This is also part of a larger ongoing process that's been underway with the Jupiter-Saturn square, which was exact on the 19th of August. On that day, Venus was opposite Saturn and made it square to Jupiter in the days following. And the Sun has recently passed through this Jupiter-Saturn square, and now this is finally Mercury's turn. And incidentally, Mercury is turning this corner in between eclipses with the Sun still in Virgo. All of this to say, we're finally wrapping our heads around something that we've been trying to wrap our heads around, and finding a way and solutions to something that we've been working through for a while. Squares always call for an inner resolution. So with Mercury squared Jupiter, Mercury being the planet of communication and information and Jupiter being the planet of knowledge and wisdom, whatever answers you seek, they're already within you. It's a matter of going inward, and we're facing huge choices, life-altering choices that will shape the course of our destiny and our foreseeable and distant future in ways that we may not even perhaps currently realize. So there's a need to be far-sighted and have perspective and pay attention to the big picture and not getting completely lost in the details. But at the same time, it's important to know the steps that we need to take so we can progress on our journey. And for that, it will require faith that we may not have all the answers, but we know what we need to know for now, and we have the information that we need to have for now to take at least the next step. And then as we do, one step at a time, because the sun is in Virgo, it's that daily process, more will be revealed. And certainly more is being revealed daily here as we move through these eclipses. It's like our brains or consciousness is growing profoundly. Because then on the 22nd of September, the sun will make a trine to Pluto. And this is just before the sun reaches equinox, and then Venus makes a square to Pluto in the final degree of Libra and leaves Libra to enter Scorpio, all on the 22nd. So the 22nd is another red letter day. I mean, this whole week really we're having aspects daily. But as we get to the 22nd with the sun trine Pluto, there's really a sense of deep healing, and we're purging a lot. We're shedding skin, we're letting go of patterns we've outgrown, of old conditioning that prevents us from making progress, from any sense of guilt, or even our attachments to superficial success, or our fears of failure, or conditioning surrounding relationships and what they should look like. And really reclaiming our authority and power in our lives to shape our lives with greater awareness. This is the sun's final day in Virgo, and we're reaching the equinox just after this aspect. And we're between eclipses, Pisces being the sign of divinity and cosmic consciousness. Virgo, the sign opposite Pisces, being an earth sign, speaks of this body which is a vessel for divine spirit. With the sun trine Pluto, there's an alchemical process underway, and there's a need for surrender to the changes unfolding and recognize that ultimately this is a journey of growth and evolution. So we're absolutely evolving in our consciousness, in our ambitions, in our life goals, to find what truly brings us a sense of purpose and meaning daily as we dedicate our lives to something. Soon after this aspect, the sun enters Libra and reaches the equinox, suggesting that something that may have felt like has been hanging by a thread, things are now balancing out. We need now to make choices in our life and shed dead weight so we can create a new future and reality that's sustainable and that we can actually balance. And once the sun enters Libra, certainly our relationships are in focus and being highlighted. And before I get into Libra and the equinox, one more thing. This sun's trine to Pluto. Pluto is now in its final trip through Capricorn between now and November 19th, and it will not return to Capricorn in our lifetimes. The sun made a conjunction to Pluto way back in January, around the 20th of January, before it entered Aquarius. Now the sun is trine Pluto, so changes that were unfolding then in our consciousness, now we're finally seeing them take shape in our lives, and we're finding a way to really take steps towards the future that we're trying to create as we let go of things that have held us back and that are no longer working for us. Ultimately, we have one life to live, even if we keep coming back, whether you believe in reincarnation or not. All the more reason. This is about us learning to live our best life, which means making those life-affirming choices. So once the sun enters Libra, the energy is shifting. Venus will be at the end of Libra at this time, and in a square to Pluto. So our relationships are reaching a powerful, significant turning point, allowing us to restore a sense of harmony and balance and cooperation, and find greater cooperation and support in our connections as we deepen connections with powerful equals that we share values with. The sun in Libra, speaks of balance and honesty and fairness legal matters as well. And of course, all our one to one relationships, all contracts, even matters of creativity and art and beauty and qualities of peace, harmony, justice, and truth. So expect these themes to be in focus and highlighted as the sun reaches equinox. This is a time when the days are and nights are equal, and similarly, life is balancing out now. And with Venus about to enter Scorpio, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, our relationships are balancing out as well, but also deepening. There may be relationships that are ending, others are changing form. Be true to yourself, your own values. Then you can find that inner sense of peace and harmony within. Then you can make conscious choices about the involvements that you want to enter deeper into and how much and how far. Of course, once Venus enters Scorpio, Venus is going to be in Scorpio until the 17th of October. And now Venus is ingress into Scorpio, Venus being the ruler of our relationships, finances, creativity, all matters of the heart. Scorpio being a Mars ruled sign, this is not the easiest placement for Venus. However, this energy is very magnetic, seductive. Relationships are deepening powerfully, and it's a matter of knowing how to work with this energy. And with Scorpio, it's important that you don't cling to what's changing and evolving. We're moving from the Pisces full moon to the Libra new moon, Pisces lunar eclipse to the Libra solar eclipse. Love is unconditional, and although a relationship may be changing its form, if the love is true, then you need not fear losing anything or anyone you love. Then this is just a purification and transformation of a relationship so it can move to a healthier place of connection. So trust this evolution that's underway in your heart and in the hearts of others around you. Scorpio asks for a total surrender, and Scorpio is a water sign, it's a fixed water sign, and this is where energy merges on the deepest level. Venus, primarily, aside from everything else, also rules our values, and Venus rules the Sun in Libra currently. And so, above all, it's important that we're being true to our values and then letting go of trying to control situations or outcomes or manipulate things or get into any power struggles. If you feel like you're caught up in any power struggle, let go. You can't change anyone else or anything else, but you can allow for a transformation that's already unfolding within you. So this energy is lucrative financially when it comes to any business projects or arrangements that you've been working on. And in relationships, yes, we're entering deeper levels of intimacy. The energy is sexual, intense, and powerful. But there's a need to let go of our attachments to sex and money and power, the need for control, even. Then we can truly stay in our power and magnetize whatever we desire to us. Matters surrounding taxes, inheritances, marriages, as well as divorces, these are all very much in focus now. There are powerful changes unfolding behind the scenes as well as on the surface. Scorpio deals with matters that are taboo or veiled. But at its depth, Scorpio represents that process of transformation and purification. So have faith in the changes that are unfolding. Stay true to your values. Then you can deepen the connections that you share values with in a way that really enriches your life. And if you feel like you're caught in any situation that you don't want to be in, this is a chance to really reclaim your power, to walk away from what doesn't align with your values. You needn't fear losing anyone or anything, but in allowing space for something to evolve, you can reconnect perhaps further down the road in a healthier, more balanced way. The Sun in Libra suggests that we have a choice. And perhaps with Libra, the biggest challenge, energy can be indecisive. So there can be that desire to want to make a perfect choice, but recognize there isn't one. You've got to listen to your heart and then trust your heart and enter that unknown, because Scorpio is very unknown territory and our relationships are changing in a way, entering unknown territory. And the only thing that we can be guided by right now is our own values, and then trust that we can find a balance with others and people will respect us for it as much as we can keep that same space open for others where everybody has the freedom to make a choice. And when the sun is in Libra, which is represented by the scales, it's important that we're seeking win-win solutions, because unless everybody wins, everybody loses. And that's really the lesson of Libra season, is how can we find harmony and balance within, which then extends out into all of our connections, where we're being fair. So as you can see, it's a big week and there's a lot going on. And honestly, I could go on. There's so many things that I feel I already can think of that I wish I could expand on, but I'll just keep going on forever. So if anyone wants a more personal, in-depth reading, please do reach out to me. I would love to work with you and put all of this into context. But we're now moving from the Pisces full moon lunar eclipse to the Libra new moon and solar eclipse on the 2nd of October. Between now and then, the moon is waning. Pisces is a sign that speaks of unconditional love. Libra speaks of our relationships. And what we're learning now, essentially, especially as the sun transits from Virgo into Libra, is that love is unconditional, but relationships are a choice. And life is changing shape with major aspects developing daily this week. Our consciousness is expanding, and we can tangibly see our dreams starting to materialize. This energy is extremely creative. What matters is that we have clarity on our vision and we're seeking depth rather than getting simply carried away by superficial, glamorous fantasies that ultimately are hollow. So reflect on your own life and a vision that you have for your life this week as the full moon aligns and in the days following. There are major revelations coming through, and there may be difficult realities to face, but in all honesty, we're really moving past our own mental blocks and limits. And we may face humbling moments, but in our willingness to learn and to let go and leave the past behind and to forgive and forget, and well, we don't have to forget our lessons, but we can forgive the past and others, not for anyone else, but for our own sake, so we don't need to carry that stuff into our future. And as the moon wanes, there's a powerful emotional release on the way where we're letting go of baggage and letting the past be water under the bridge. And the energy is extremely creative, so we're seeing new ways forward now. And the more you can keep an open mind, there could be unexpected, surprising breakthroughs. And certainly leave room for magic this week as the sun, opposes Neptune and this full moon is connecting with Neptune, because there is magic in the air. And sometimes too much analysis can destroy the magic. So trust your intuition as you move through the week. Channel this energy into your creativity, music, whatever heals you, whatever's constructive. In relationships, the energy is extremely romantic and dreamy, but also there's a lot of growth that's happening here, allowing us to have healthier connections and let go of old patterns and break free of perhaps toxic cycles that we've been stuck in, or cycles where we felt like we've been stagnant. Now suddenly life is blossoming, but that will also mean, again, releasing the past and what we've outgrown, so we can really step into the fullness of who we're becoming and show up more wholly in our connections. And once the sun reaches the equinox on the 22nd, life is balancing out. We're seeing over the next 4 weeks how we can restore that sense of balance and harmony in our connections and within ourselves as well. Relationships, all our one-to-one relationships are highlighted, as well as legal matters are in focus, contracts, all contractual matters and obligations. And there's a need to be honest with ourselves primarily, and to deepen our relationship with ourselves. Then we can be honest and fair in our communications with others. And really, if we can lead with love and with the heart, then we can disarm any situation that feels heated or feels sensitive. And with Venus entering Scorpio at the equinox, our relationships are certainly evolving, and the energy is magnetic and powerful and seductive, romantic, creative, lucrative, and we're entering unknown territory. So just be true to yourself, honest with yourself, then you can make choices in alignment with your values and deepen connections with others you share values with. So I will stop there for now, and I'll be back with you with more next week. On the other side of these eclipses, I will be in Toronto next week. So if anyone wants to get an in-person consultation in Toronto, please do reach out to me, or simply just to say hi. Reach out to me. I'd love to connect. But with that, I send you all my love with this full moon, and I'll catch you on the other side of this eclipse. It's Priya signing off from New York. Namaste.